I do a lot of reading, and I recently came across an article about the rise of one and done, right? That is parents who've made the choice to only have one. Now, our last 10 family, they did not decide to stop at one, they have 12. But there's still a lot of pressure from family and friends, even strangers, when you are a one and done family. In fact, according to the Pew Research Center, the number of mothers having one child has doubled in the last 40 years. My first guest is a proud mom of only one child, and she's built a platform in a community supporting one-child families. With her Instagram account, it's called One and Done Parenting. She was actually one of the women featured in the article that inspired part of the show today. Tam, please help me welcome Jen Dalton to the show. Thank you for being here and launching off the conversation. We have a wide range of people on this hour, but the one and done conversation I thought was done. I didn't think people still felt the need to quiz and probe you on why you've chosen to have one child, but they do. Some of the comments are really inappropriate. There was someone who said, that it's not a proper family unless you have, like you said, I would never have one child because C-O-S, I would never want to deprive them of having siblings and a proper family. So we both have one and dones.
Yeah.
And to that person, we're not a proper family.
Yeah. You define what your family means to you. And a family can be just a husband and wife. It doesn't even need a child. It can be having an only child.
You can have a dog like the cute one that gave high five in that setup piece.
Exactly. We love our fur babies too, right?
So why is it that people are hung up on the one and done? You are in this community. You've built a community of support for people. What's the hang up?
I think the hang up is the feeling that children need a sibling to have a happy childhood. And that isn't true. I'm a very happy only child.
So you are an only child?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. By my parents' circumstance, I was born through surrogacy because my mom was unable to carry a child. So for them, being one and done wasn't their ideal situation. For me, it's a choice. I'm choosing to have one child because that works well for my family.
Did you think about it in advance? Because I'll be honest, look, so it's live TV. Let me just be real, how I talk to my friends at home, and y'all are my family. When I went through IVF, I had enough eggs to do 2. I went to my doctor and I said, I don't want a single child because I'm already an older mom and I want to have 2. He said, it's not healthy. You may not make it through childbirth. Oh, wow. So you can do one child. So I called my cousin Erica, who's an only child. I said, how was it being an only child? She goes, I don't even know another life, right? And then she started to list all of the things. And so, but it did, I had that moment, 2 things I worried about, being an older mom, but also he's gonna be by himself at some point. And that scared me.
Yeah, that's a common fear that one and done parents have, but we're really putting a lot of emphasis on that sibling relationship. And I think we all know people who aren't close with their siblings. It can be you guys know, I heard. It can be a challenging relationship to navigate. And
yeah, because the assumption is your sibling will have your back, but we know that that's not always the case.
And even siblings can live across the country from one another. Like even you might be close, you may FaceTime once a week or once a month, but really, are they the person that you call when you're having a bad day, when you're struggling? And as an only child, I don't know that relationship, but I have a huge network of friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, teammates who support me, and my husband, obviously, too.
Yes.
And
your husband, Chris. Shout out, Chris. We don't want to leave you out of the equation. As I said, you get a lot of views on social media. What do you believe is the common thread or the thing you want people, as we look at how you define family, especially now, those stats are incredible. The number of women now sticking with one and done children.
Yeah, it's a growing trend and it makes sense. You look at socioeconomic factors of cost of living, like it's no surprise that it's getting more expensive to live just as an adult, let alone raise children. Housing prices are high, and just from a lifestyle perspective, maybe you have limits that you have struggled with, your physical limits, your mental limits, your emotional limits.
Yeah, but it just still surprises me how you have to defend your life choices. We, constantly, people, have to defend our life choices, whatever they are. I want to play, you recently posted a video on Instagram where you shared that you had a case of baby fever and were considering a second child, which surprised me. Let's take a look.
My husband and I, we're one and done, meaning we're choosing to have an only child. That's what works for our family. But a few months ago, we had the most amount of baby fever anyone has ever had for a second child in their life. And we need to figure out how on earth do we figure out if we actually want to have another kid, or are we just feeling really broody? And we did two things to figure it out. One, we got off social media. Too much pregnancy, gender reveal, baby content being pushed towards us, especially to me as a woman. And two, we asked ourselves this question every single day at the end of the day. Do we wish we had another baby with us? And the answer was always no every single day. And that brought us so much clarity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it helped.
So when people ask you now, I mean, you're quite clear where you stand. Do you get upset? How do you process it?
I look at it as a time to educate them on their stereotypes of only children. You know, why are you feeling that way about only children? You know, a lot of times they're labeled as maladjusted, lonely, selfish, spoiled, and it really is not true. Yeah. So just putting it back onto them, why do you feel that way? And a lot of the times it's hard for them to answer that question. It's just societal norms telling them what a proper family should be. And really you define what your family is.
Well, you've done a great job bringing this conversation to light. Thank you so much. Thank you.